Customs and Border Protection in Tucson on Wednesday, trying to force the release of records that show how the office has implemented President Donald Trump's travel ban affecting people from Muslim-majority countries. The Arizona branch joined 12 other ACLU chapters, including ones in California, Texas, Florida, Illinois, and Maryland, asking for records from local Customs and Border Protection offices, according to an ACLU statement. The Tucson lawsuit seeks records detailing how customs officers applied Trump's order at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Volunteer attorneys spent many nights at Sky Harbor, waiting to assist passengers who were detained because of the Muslim ban executive orders, said Kathy Brody, legal director for the ACLU of Arizona, in an emailed statement. Although no one appears to have been held at Sky Harbor, it's impossible for us to know what happened in the secure areas of the airport without transparency from the federal government. Restricting a person's ability to travel is a severe action for the government to take, and we all should know when and how it is being done. Hanan Hassan of Phoenix is among the hundreds of Arizonans who protested at Sky Harbor in the days after the original executive order was issued. Hassan is an American citizen who came to the U.S. as a refugee after the war in her home country of Iraq. I was one of those people there, at the airport protest, for 12 hours with a lot of my Iraqi friends, a lot of ASU students, and strangers. We were all there after the ban to have our voices heard, she said. Hassan said she lost her family in a car bomb in Iraq and settled as a refugee in Texas in 2008, and later became a citizen. She now lives in Phoenix and works for an Arizona nonprofit that helps newly arrived refugees. She said people in her Iraqi community see the lawsuits and the protests as a sign that despite the increase in hate they've seen in public, there are many people who support refugees and immigrants. It makes me proud to be here, it makes me happy there's people who still believe in humanity, she said of the legal fights and support. I am an American. We are all humans, we need to learn to love each other and support each other. Lawsuit filed after silence on records request. The lawsuit was filed in the U.S. District Court of Arizona against the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The ACLU's Arizona chapter says it first sought records through a Freedom of Information Act request sent on February 2, following Trump's initial executive order. The organization claims it filed the lawsuit because the government has failed to respond substantively to its FOIA request. In a copy of the lawsuit provided to the Arizona Republic, the ACLU says the information is critical to the public's ability to hold the government accountable. CBP has a long history of ignoring its obligations under the Federal Freedom of Information Act, a law that was enacted to ensure that Americans have timely access to information of pressing public concern, said Mitra Abedulahi, Border Litigation Project staff attorney with the ACLU of San Diego and Imperial counties. The public has a right to know how federal immigration officials have handled the implementation of the Muslim bans, especially after multiple federal courts have blocked various aspects of these executive orders. The lawsuit said the records request sought access to or copies of information including any documents related to Customs and Border Protection's interpretation, enforcement, and implementation of an email sent on January 27 by Daniel M. Renault, Associate Director of Field Operations for U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. The email instructed DHS employees that they could not adjudicate any immigration claims from the 7 targeted countries. The original travel ban was issued that day. The total number of individuals who remain detained or subject to secondary screening, extending questioning, an enforcement examination, or consideration for a waiver at the airport. Yeah.